In a world where everyone is attacking one another because reasons, I emerge triumphant as the internet's hall monitor. Now if I could just lose about 6,000 pounds, sexy up this apartment, get over my crippling self-doubt and the fact that I have no mans right now, I think I could actually rule the fucking world. In the meantime, hello SJWs from an anti-SJW, or as I prefer to say, hello alt-left YouTubers from Gines. I'm so cute. I will be here to answer your reasonable questions as concisely as I possibly can, and you know, maybe sometime in the future we can actually discuss shit. And admittedly, I don't know who all of you are, but I am not one to judge, so talk to me bitches, let's go.
Anti-SJWs often have an aversion to being labelled as right-wing. Yet they regularly defend the right and bash the left. Therefore, why is being labelled right-wing a bad thing to you?
I just think these alt-right folks that you're talking about don't really like labels in general. So I think what is happening here is they're taking a lot of the SJW crap that happened about 2 years ago, aka Gamergate, and kind of using it as an easy target and making fun of things in the same vein right now.
Rather than telling people you disagree with to drink bleach, wouldn't it be more productive for you to have an actual conversation about the issues you feel matter?
Yes.
You claim to be proponents of rational, logical, evidence-based argumentation. That's great. That's entirely laudable. But when I look at your online activity, when I look at, I don't know, for example, your Twitter feed, that's often not what I see. How do you reconcile this claim to be evidence-based and rational and logical against stuff like, oh, I was just trolling you, oh, I was just shitposting, or TLDR?
Because it's Twitter. And Twitter is only 140 characters, and shitposting is rampant there. And you know what? Sometimes these folks on the alt-right have experienced being blocked on Twitter for simply trying to start a conversation with some people. So if this happens enough to one person, they're gonna start being kind of dickish to everybody that kind of shares the same mindset.
Are you aware that the ridiculous buzzwords you helped to popularize, like SJW and cuck and regressive, have all lost whatever meaning they once had and only serve now as catch-all insults and pejoratives to derail any meaningful conversation?
Isn't that the point of insults, though? To just kind of be these asshole-ish things that people use and peppered in their arguments? If someone is solely relying on just using insults as part of their argument, I'm gonna go ahead and say, oh, you don't really have anything brilliant to say, do you? And anyone that resorts to insults right away, they don't really want to dialogue at that time. So what you should do, I think, is either you ignore this person or you push past all the bullshit insults, you just clench your asshole a little bit and just try to talk to the person.
What is it with you people and committing actual literal felonies? Like, you might want to work on that?
Well, sir, I have never, ever committed any kind of felony. I have never been arrested in my entire life, so who the fuck are you talking to? Oh, you're just talking to one certain person, okay. Painting it in a whole big brush. Cool, I can do that too, because you know what? Some of these SJW folks, especially on Tumblr, have gone after and doxed people for saying stupid shit online. That's a fucking felony too. You don't drop somebody's dox. And I'm sure that people on the right have done this too. It just does not serve any kind of purpose to paint everything in such a wide fucking brush like that.
Anti-feminists often take up the most extreme or the weakest feminist position they can find, or they just straight up misrepresent what the feminist position is. Instead, why not take up the strongest, most robust feminist argument you can find and really challenge yourself?
Because I think some people have a shtick that they like to shtick to, and challenging oneself may go against that. Maybe if there is a willingness from both sides to not circle jerk and actually reach out to other people outside of their own camps, we could actually have a conversation. I know it's not easy, but I am here as a moderator. I will help you guys. I will be your internet hall monitor and moderate any kind of debate you want to have, throwing that shit out there now. But then again, you gotta do that in the proper medium. Doing that in somebody's video, maybe not the best thing. In a debate, abso-fucking-lutely. In a live stream, sure. But maybe not in the video. Maybe the videos can kind of stand on their own. And let people have their circle jerks within them. Why not?
What is third wave feminism?
Oh, hello, Steve Shives. Do you remember blocking me on Twitter? No, you don't? Okay, because I've never even heard of you and was blocked. I don't give a fuck. I'll be happy to tell you what third wave feminism means to me. I think third wave feminism is this recent influx of victim mentalities masquerading as actual issues. People put their insecurities out there on blast, painting it as this is a worldwide fucking problem that we need to fix. No. We have to try to learn to distinguish who is just kind of going for attention and who wants actual change. And if you want actual change, you start branching out and you start talking to other people that you may not have talked to. If you are in this circle jerk where everybody is around boosting you up because one time somebody did something dickish to you, then that I don't think is very cool at all. And I see that more in things like Gamergate. I think was a perfect example of third wave feminism. I see it all over campuses and protests on campus and any kind of I would say the debates had by Milo Yiannopoulos. I know people don't like him, but if you can push past his bullshit, he is a very good articulate person. I would say protests like that have no basis in reality, just for this yelling for the sake of yelling and hearing one's own voice, I think is a big aspect of third wave feminism, and I can get into it. Oh my god, I could get into it, but want to keep going here.
Why is it that this feminist represents all feminists?
Trigglypuff represented the worst stereotypes of these SJW people that people like to make fun of. She, was overweight, unfortunately. Even though she's lost weight since this, I've seen pictures of her. The dyed hair, the angry disposition, saying "fuck you" to any kind of opposition, and the horned glasses. Like, it was a living stereotype, and people freaked out, and people fucking took it and ran with it. What I will say is I believe people using this as an argument and using this as using Trigglypuff as like, oh, you don't like what I say, you're so triggered. I would say that the substance of their argument is running a little bit thin. So just know that this is an extreme, and you can dismiss it if you would like to.
But this men's rights activist doesn't represent all men's rights activists.
Whoa, wait, sexism all of a sudden? Ladies and men are different? So we're supposed to punch men and not hit ladies and open doors for men, but not ladies?
I don't know who the fuck that guy is, and I would never paint him as the men's right activist. I would say that guy's a fucking aberrant douchebag, as is Trigglypuff in that video. So what? Douchebags exists. The end. Are we done painting individuals as the entirety of a fucking movement? Are we done with that? Can we please be done with that? I'm so tired of it.
If SJWs are bad because they spend too much time whining and don't talk about real problems, then why aren't you talking about those problems instead of just whining about the other people over and over and over for literally years?
Good point. I'm ready to talk about it. Are you?
You do understand that reading the title of a book or an article or watching the first 15 seconds of a video is not going to give you a deep, nuanced understanding of what that book or article or video is about, right?
Yeah, I do know that, thank you. And I don't need the condescending attitude either. I don't like that. Because being kind of condescending like that doesn't allow a conversation to bloom. It's just gonna make people not want to talk to you. Also, your argument kind of applies to everyone, not just the anti-SJWs. How can you expect somebody to have a concrete stance if they don't fucking do any kind of research? The best you can do, I guess, is do your own research and kind of call out respectfully as you can those who you think do not.
I see things like raghead or camel fucker or other things like that in your comment sections. I see people taking very serious shots at Muslims in videos and hangouts, and they don't get called out. Why should a person of conscience who is concerned about the Muslim people in their community, why should they believe that you're actually only attempting to look at the ideas and talk about the ideas if you ignore bigotry that's occurring right in front of you?
Because sometimes ignoring a problem is the easier way to go. Sometimes shit gets overwhelming and people just can't handle it. Sometimes it's best to lead by example and not scold and tell people what to do.
And in that light, would you be willing to break bread and salt with moderate Muslim people on your videos, have hangouts, invite them to your channels?
I am willing to talk to anyone who would like to talk to me within reason. I'm not going to make a porno show, which someone had requested for me on my Patreon video. Plug. That was a shameless plug. I don't give a fuck. Let's keep going.
Do you deny that systemic racism against black people is like a thing in general? If not, why is it so much more important to you to demonize groups like Black Lives Matter than to actually use your platforms to discuss actual solutions to issues surrounding race and racism?
I do believe that black people are getting a raw deal in this country in some respects, and from time to time I like to make race relation videos on my channel. I think there are some extreme problems with BLM, and they have been called out, and I haven't really seen them as of late. However, I do agree that people are harping on a lot of the negatives of BLM and not looking at what positively they can do. If people are doing that, I think they are just out of steam and need something to fall back on that will help support their argument. And again, you can either ignore this or you can try to talk to them.
Wherever did you get the idea that racism was a self-applied identity?
Steve, I'm going to need some receipts on this one because that's an odd statement to me. That's not something I ever thought of anything, but I do believe that I guess we have ingrained prejudices within ourselves, and it could just be nature versus nurture, that kind of thing. The hope is the more we talk and the more we discuss things with one another, the more that these ingrained kind of prejudices will just kind of float away, and you will hear the voice, you will hear the merit of one's voice versus giving a shit what they look like.
But if people of color, for instance, have to overcome barriers whites do not, then how can the current situation be thought of as equal opportunity in any real way? And why do you consider it racist to discuss these issues?
I don't consider discussing things racist. Uncomfortable sometimes, perhaps, but racist? Mm-mm. It is odd because when I have tried to talk about race relations on my Twitter or on my YouTube, I have been told that my quote-unquote white privilege is showing and I should probably shut the fuck up about it. So what's that about? So I don't think this is a question that I can fully answer. However, I will say that I believe some of you guys on the alt-left should perhaps parse out what you are delineating as a racist statement. Because if you are painting things with a wide brush like that, then people are going to be like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? What I just said was racist? I don't even know. We can't really be dumping things all on the alt-right. We all gotta work together, I'm just saying.
Do you understand basic English syntax? Like, you know, if I say this cat is pretty, I don't mean that all other cats aren't pretty. Like, do you really not get why saying all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter is not only racially insensitive, but just patently ridiculous?
I understand that argument, and I think it's something that needs to be discussed further instead of me trying to decipher a comparison to a very pretty cat. Here's a pretty cat. Oh, she's beautiful.
Isn't it offensive to men to assume that a man could only ever want equality for women and therefore be comfortable with feminism as a whole in order to get laid, and that reduces us to beasts?
I had to listen to that like 4 times because I still don't understand it, and I think that that is a personal kind of comment that I can't really answer because I don't think all male feminists want to just fuck women. I don't think that that's the true statement. You've probably been called out before and said that like, oh, you're just being a feminist because you want to bang ladies. Like, okay, that's your problem. That's your thing you gotta get over. It's alright, I don't give a fuck.
Will you call out the man-hating slurs that you see coming from people within your community? People who use terms like cuck, beta male, faggot, or mangina?
Wait, cuck and mangina are slurs? I thought they were just dumb words. If I see people who watch me overwhelmingly and consistently use language that I disapprove of, then yes, I would call it out. Other than that, a little aberrant thing here and there, I'm just gonna be like, alright, whatever. Because you know what? I can't control what people do. I cannot condone things, but that's basically all I can do. But so far, people who have stuck with me for the past 6 years on YouTube have been awesome, awesome people. Come join us, won't you? This is a really fun channel to hang out on. This is a community of fantastic and awesome people who can have nice discussions with one another and not be dicks. It's awesome.
So what are you doing to stop this kind of behavior in your community?
I'm not using words like faggot on my channel. Oh, I just did. Oh no.
What has the number of followers, the number of likes, the number of dislikes, the number of retweets, the number of subscribers, any of those numbers, any of those metrics, what have they got to do with the argument?
Nothing. Like, that's it. Like, literally nothing. It has nothing to do. All it means is that you have a wider audience and a wider net that you are casting. That's all that means. If someone honestly thinks they are better than you or that their voice resonates more because they have more subscribers, then all you gotta do is just laugh and keep presenting your point.
Why is it that you go on and fucking on about safe spaces and trigger warnings and delicate little flowers, but continue to hide behind your cartoon avatars and your childish pseudonyms? And whenever anyone calls you out on your sexist, racist, homophobic, bigoted rhetoric, you become the argument of your own scorn and are hashtag triggered.
Because people like to investigate things that make no sense to them. People like to delve into things and research things that they just go, what the actual fuck am I reading? Which is why I read both of Onision's books out on my channel. Oh my fucking god. And also, broski, you're stereotyping too with the cartoon avatar bullshit. Jesus Christ, can we shut up about that? What are we accomplishing by just hurling shit at one another, for fuck's sake?
You do realise that you're as much of a social justice warrior as those you critique. It's just that you espouse a different form of social justice, a rather less considerate, rather less forgiving, rather less kind form of social justice.
That's a good point. But I will say, if we are going to reduce things to calling them out and saying it's not kind, it's this and that, then I think we're just turning into a bunch of kids in the schoolyard saying, you pushed me first. No, you did. No, you did. Slap, slap, slap fight. You know, that we're done with slap fights. Are we not done with slap fights? Can we just fucking talk? Are we ready to do that, guys? I feel like we are. I really do. I feel like we're on the cusp of fucking talking. Yet, one final question here.
Do you really think you can spend your entire life in a perpetual state of emotional immaturity?
Okay. I think alt-right folks make the argument that alt-left folks are immature. Oh my god, see what I mean? We're just, no you. I will now leave you with a couple suggestions on how perhaps the alt-right and the alt-left can actually fucking have a conversation. Number one, alt-right people, don't forget that these SJW folks that you like to demonize, they are people too. They may just be abstract concepts to you that are over the internet, but don't forget they're actual people and they have actual feelings. Instead of perhaps jutting in with your own commentary every 2 seconds, perhaps let their commentaries breathe and see what they're actually saying and listen and absorb for just a second just to see where they're coming from. Just try to do that. I believe those who lean left really base their opinions more so on feelings than I think the alt-right does. I would say to keep that in mind, to keep in mind that whenever you hear this SJW or an alt-left person talk, they're kind of speaking a bit more personally than they like to admit, I would say. Just my observations of what I'm seeing. And the alt-right folks, they're also now kind of turning into making things a bit too personal and inflating the ego a bit too much, when someone who does lean right does tend to base their beliefs in logic and concrete evidence. So just remember that both of you guys have similarities within one another, and to talk about those. And if there is a problem, then you gotta get a nice moderator to come and help moderate some debates. Someone who's objective as fuck and really, really pretty and really nice and cute to moderate your debates. I'm here to help you do that, because I am the internet hall monitor, apparently. Obviously, I didn't get to all the questions because it's a fucking 14-minute video, and I didn't play all the questions in full. I invite you to go watch the rest of the video and to see things in full, and, you know, get over the eye-rolling, which I do all the time. I am constantly eye-rolling at fucking everything I watch these days. It's terrible. It's a terrible life to lead. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if it went long. But there's a lot to say, and I really hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that we can have fun going forward here on YouTube. Good old tubes of you, and stick around, and we got more things on the way for me. Thank you so much for watching, and take care, bitches. But I also think that that's something that needs to be discussed instead of trying to make a comparison to the cuteness of a cat, the prettiness of a cat. You're ruining this. You're ruining this. You're supposed to look at the camera. Oh, I gotta do it again.